Hey, thanks for watching. Today we're going to do a bit of an update and a state of VR in 2025. Apologies in advance as this one's a little negative, particularly concerning the MetaQuest ecosystem. The future looks a tad uncertain if you're a VR gamer. I'm definitely a gamer. I like to escape this cruel world and play experiences that blow me away. I have very little interest in social apps like Meta Horizons and VR Chat, and again, little interest in mixed reality, until an app comes along that really impresses me. To summarise what's to come, to me it feels like I love this headset for maybe a different reason than the people in charge of it, and I'm going to tell you why. Let's start positive and reflect a bit. Last year was an absolute corker for top tier games. We got Batman, which absolutely delivered and some. We got Behemoth, which was very highly rated. And then there's Metro, which for me was a standout. Alien Rogue Incursion came out to mixed reviews, but you can check out my review and see that actually I really rate it for someone who never played the PC or PSVR 2 counterpart. There's games like Assassin's Creed Nexus, Contractor Showdown, Exfil Zone, Asgard's Wrath 2. If you go back and play the Quest port of Resident Evil 4, it wasn't that long ago when that was the premier title on the system. Compare that to the big hitters of last season. As much as I loved it, will always love that game and think it's one of the best ports of that game, Behemoth, Batman, Metro and Aliens, for me, blew it out of the water. Standalone VR gaming has come so far, it's pretty awesome. So why the long face? Let's get into it. So it's no secret that the MetaQuest store and the update feed have evolved in the past few years. A few years ago, Meta had strict restrictions on releases in their store, a quality bar that demanded the best of the best. Otherwise, you had to prove your worth in the separate App Lab store. This was brilliant as most of the games that you were shown in your recommended feed were fantastic quality. Well, for a little while now, Meta have actually scrapped that, done the old U-turn, and everything and anything that you can access on the system is all jumbled up. This is a problem, and discoverability on the store is at an all-time low, and it's starting to frustrate me a touch, and more importantly, it looks like it might be frustrating developers who've went through the risk of developing these expensive games in a niche market. So MetaQuest headsets are selling well. Best-selling console of 2024 on Amazon apparently, but VR studios that make actual games that are good are shutting down. An example, the investors of Metro Awakening aren't happy with the return on the game. Now we can take that one of two ways. Either their expectations were too high, or one of the best games of last year didn't sell enough. Unfortunately, we may never know which one, although, you know what? Alien recently released, big IP. I wonder where it sits on the most popular page on Meta's website. Well, the list goes up to 50, and it ain't on there. So make of that what you will, but I'm going to guess these big games aren't selling. We're going to get into why, I promise, so stick with me. Another example this month is Toast Interactive, the developers of Max Mustard, a sort of Astrobot style game, are making layoffs, getting rid of the majority of their talented staff. It's a really good quality game that, by all rights, should have done pretty well. You've probably heard of Endreams. They're closing down 2 internal studios and merging into one. Endreams bought us Phantom Covert Ops, Fract, Little Cities, Ghostbusters and Vendetta Forever, so a top tier VR studio for sure. Endreams Studios is gone and Orbital is gone, combining to make a studio called Compass. It's now run by an ex-EA and Activision leader. The new studio has a 40-person team that aims to target VR's younger audience. Yay. This is bad news. It's all bad for VR gaming. The more we see companies take risks in this industry and fail, both big and small devs are going to be even more reluctant to take their own risks, and VR gaming will actually be dead by this time next year. Many studios have said it themselves by this point. It's all down to discoverability, as aforementioned. Meta have a clear agenda to push Horizon content over these top tier games in storefronts and news feeds. This means the bulk of the customer base aren't seeing these great titles. I know me and probably you know when these games are coming out. We might even have them on pre-order. But I'm going to hazard a guess me and you are probably a little more hardcore and aren't the market at mass, which need discoverability in the store to find these great titles. The Meta store is also full of free-to-play crap aimed at kids. Let's take a look at this most popular list again. Surprise, surprise, there's Gorilla Tag at the top, and then there's loads of Gorilla Tag clones. Then we have Meta Horizon, VR Chat, Roblox, Rec Room. All these games are free to play and full of screaming kids. These free-to-play titles are dominating the spaces where quality games should be. Meta have done incentives such as 3 months free Quest Plus, a free copy of Batman, and there was a £50 free store credit this holiday season. That's great for the consumer, don't get me wrong, but who's spending actual money so studios can survive? So Horizon Worlds is Meta's focus and has a new $50 million incentive for people to make content for it in the form of Horizon Worlds. This is all part of a push to really make Horizon Worlds Meta's top priority. Meta recently shared a post saying that 2025 is the deciding year for Reality Labs, which are responsible for Meta Horizon. Meta are going all in on that investment, and this is the last push to see if it's a huge success, or as they put it, a legendary misadventure. I would personally call it a tone-deaf corporate splurge, personally. I hope that Meta have plans for VR gaming and still care about us old fogies. Well, at least till the end of the year when Meta Horizon dies its death, then maybe we can get back to business. There was an official blog post at the start of the month called The Evolution of Our Ecosystem. It mentions premium titles like I Am Cat, Five Nights at Freddy's, Animal Company, a Gorilla Tag clone, and Yeeps, another Gorilla Tag clone. It's quite out of touch. You've just released Batman, for Pete's sake. I Am Cat is not a premium title. It seems Meta want to push free to play, which is bad for overall game quality. I'll end on another quote from the blog. As so many newcomers enter the market, the well-known attributes of VR enthusiasts no longer represent the full Quest user base. Now that feels like a little bit of a kick in the teeth for those of us that have supported Meta and Quest gaming from the start. Now I know that was really doom and gloom, but I have to be honest, and I say it because I want Meta to succeed in this more than most. Let's hope there's plans for gaming and Meta are just keeping quiet for the big reveal, eh? Anyway, thanks for watching, see ya! Today we're checking out Alien Rogue Incursion, specifically for the MetaQuest 3. Is this the version of the game you should nuke from space, just to be sure? Or is this a tantalising thrill ride elevator to hell, going down?